We humans naturally flock together. Sure, it's nice to have romantic ideals about being a lone warrior or isolated hermit, independent and beholden to no other, but history dictates people gravitate towards other people, relying on each other for comfort, companionship, and indeed survival. Safety in numbers and all that. Cities are basically what happens when enough people decide to live in close proximity to one another for a long enough period of time. But I don't need to tell you that. You know what a city is. Heck, you might even live in one. Video games have offered up some amazing cities over the years, from vibrant futuristic metropolises to dingy backwater burgs. These places can act as safe havens or could be more dangerous than the wilderness that surrounds them. And for this video, we've decided to celebrate some of the best. That's right, we've navigated the virtual globe in search of some digital cities that really resonated with us. And I hope that you'll allow me to be your tour guide as we visit some of gaming's most marvellous municipalities. I'm the Metropolitan Ashton from TripleJump, and here are the 10 coolest cities in video games. Number 10, Novigrad, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The free city of Novigrad, so called because it does not come under the rule of the Kingdom of Redania, in which it resides. Originated in the Witcher series of novels by Andrzej Sapkowski. The talented team at CD Projekt Red were tasked with bringing it to life in The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, and they did a truly excellent job that resulted in one of the most authentic feeling fantastical cities in gaming. Novigrad is composed of various districts, including a lively dock area, a bustling market, and countless streets and alleyways littered with establishments where a road-weary witcher might find some entertainment and relaxation. Probably its most prominent feature, however, is Temple Isle, a small island connected to Novigrad by a grand bridge that is home to the great Temple of the Eternal Fire. As Geralt ascends the long road to this temple, he'll be flanked by billowing braziers and some truly spectacular views. This temple is home to the cult of the Eternal Flame, who are responsible for the rule of the city, although entities like the Secret Service and various organised criminal elements are likely to have something to say about that. Our advice though, forget all about the skullduggery and subterfuge, and enjoy the luxurious baths. Oh, wait. Number 9, Sigil, Planescape Torment. Old-school text-heavy RPG Planescape Torment spends most of its runtime in the city of Sigil. This gravity-defying location is part of the Planescape Torment RPG setting and is built on the inner surface of a ring that floats on top of a ridiculously tall spire in a plane where all other planes converge. And no, we don't understand the physics either. Also known as the Cage, the colourful city of Sigil is ruled over by a mysterious entity known as the Lady of Pain, and features 6 distinct districts known as wards. From gigantic foundries and affluent halls to bizarre living siege towers and sentient alleyways, mystery, intrigue and danger await around every corner, and with Sigil's nature as the centre of the plains, all manner of strange creatures call it home. One more thing to look out for, Sigil is absolutely rife with portals. Windows, archways, barrel hoops, picture frames, they all have the potential to transport you somewhere unexpected if you happen to be carrying the right key. And said key could be absolutely anything. Walking through your front door with a new necklace on, and finding yourself inexplicably transported to one of the 9 hells, yep, that's Sigil for you. Number 8, Goldpaw, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Visually resplendent 2018 RPG Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom features some exceptionally charming and imaginative burgs for protagonist Evan to explore, but none of them leave an impression quite like Goldpaw, with its unusual Vegas via Tibet charm. Combining the neon glitz and glamour of its state-run casino with an isolated temple village vibe, Goldpaw is a unique city where gambling is a way of life. There's a heavy emphasis on luck, with matters of the utmost importance being decided by a roll of the die, up to and including taxes and criminal justice. This somewhat risky way of running things makes Goldpaw a haven for those looking to make their fortune, but we can't help but think that this philosophy creates far more losers than winners. Despite this questionable way of doing things, Goldpaw is a spectacular place to visit, with its neon dragons and swaying spotlights providing a sparkling backdrop for the cosy and traditional ambiance of its shops and winding alleys. The entity in charge of all of this gambling and glamour is an argumentative pug named Pugnacious, whose official title is High Roller because he gambles with large sums of money and rolls the important dice that decide matters of governance. My pun detectors are picking up quite frankly dangerous levels of wordplay with this one. Number 7, The Citadel, Mass Effect. The Citadel from the Mass Effect series has a bit of an unfair advantage in the coolness stakes. owing to the fact that it's a giant sparkling metropolis suspended in space. But it does have plenty of other features that make it deserving entry on our list too. Featured in all 3 Mass Effect games, it is a massive structure with its own simulated gravity. Its central ring and 5 arms all serve as homes and workplaces to the varied races of the galaxy. And the looming spectacle of the Citadel's other sections suspended above its parks and glittering spires provide breathtaking views. Discovered rather than built, the Citadel contains many mysteries in its labyrinthian interior, not least the drone-like insectoid race known as the Keepers, who maintain its many complex systems. The Citadel's darkest mystery, however, is that of its creators. It is eventually revealed to have been created by the Reapers, a race of all-powerful cosmic horrors intent on wiping out galactic civilizations every 50,000 years. The very existence of the Citadel is a cosmic trap, intended to entice advanced races to set up government in its walls so that they can be wiped out with ease when the Reapers attack. Not such a sparkling utopia now, eh? Number 6. Jigar Paralao, Gravity Rush 2. Japan Studios' gravity-defying action game Gravity Rush 2 mostly takes place in the floating city of Jigar Paralao. Split into 4 separate districts that reside on their own different clusters of islands, Jigar Paralao offers outstanding views and unequalled ambience, whether you're exploring the colourful marketplace, floating by the majestic parks and mansions of the old city, or slumming it in the poverty-stricken houseboat fleet. Thanks to Gravity Rush 2's unique gameplay mechanics, every inch of this vibrant, multicultural airborne metropolis is waiting to be explored. From the sides of its skyscrapers to its rocky underbelly, protagonist Kat can get absolutely anywhere, and she can even hitch a ride on an anti-gravity jalopy if you aim her just right. Fans of the original Gravity Rush might feel that Hexaville, that game's setting, is the more iconic and interesting city. Well, don't worry, because Hexaville turns up partway through Gravity Rush 2 as well, in full and beautifully rendered on the PS4 hardware, including the gorgeous entertainment district with its fancy Ferris wheel. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better place to go gliding around with my floating feline friend. Also, the appearance of Hexaville makes this a 2-for-1 entry. How about that for value? Number 5. Night City, Cyberpunk 2077. We had to include one moody cyberpunk metropolis on this list, and we're better than the infamous Night City. The setting for almost the entirety of CD Projekt Red's RPG with attitude, Night City combines fantastical science fiction with gritty realism to fascinating effect. Those pesky bugs aside, the developers of Cyberpunk 2077 created something special with their take on the city from the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG. From the dingy, dangerous back alleys to the very top of the most sparkly skyscrapers, which are also pretty dangerous, Night City exudes character and detail. The place is a neon wonderland that can offer you opportunities for success and limitless temptations, and is extremely likely to take all that you have, leaving you degenerate, destitute, or just plain old dead. With all that peril round every corner, how can we possibly recommend a visit to Night City? Well, some people just can't get enough of that rainy neon-lit cyberpunk aesthetic, and Night City has all of that in spades. It truly is an incredible place that will make all of your Blade Runner-inspired dreams come true. Our only minor problem is the overabundance of racy imagery on billboards that make it a little awkward if someone walks in while you're playing. I mean, I've heard that sex sells, but this is ridiculous. Number 4. Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate. The only place on our list that lends its name to the game it's featured in, Baldur's Gate is the most famous of the cities from Faerun, the world of tabletop role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons. In BioWare's 1998 CRPG, Baldur's Gate, players begin their journey a ways out of the city in an isolated place of learning known as Candlekeep. The questline keeps players away from the titular city for a long while after that too, forcing the protagonist to trudge through muddy villages, dreary mines, and hobgoblin-infested wilderness before they can go anywhere near Baldur's Gate's paved streets and welcoming taverns. When you finally reach the bustling port city, it feels like a reward for all the time spent being ambushed by gibberlings and giant spiders in the arse end of nowhere. Finally, you've reached civilization. That doesn't mean you're suddenly safe within its walls though. Baldur's Gate's alleyways are riddled with assassins, muggers and thieves, not to mention entrances to expansive monster-infested sewers. The most affluent areas are no better, considering the protagonist's powerful nemesis, Sarevok, has integrated himself into the city's merchants and nobility. You'll definitely need eyes in the back of your head while wandering around these cobbled streets. Almost makes me miss the gibberlings. Number 3. Stormwind, World of Warcraft. Much of World of Warcraft's expansive world consists of dangerous wilderness and frontier settlements filled with hardy quest givers. Despite being the most populated MMORPG in history, players are likely to find corners of the world where they can quest in complete isolation, with only the local trogs and the occasional gold farmer spamming the server chat for company. Not so in the cities. Bustling with NPCs and players alike, these places really feel like bastions of civilization in an unforgiving world. Many of World of Warcraft's capitals could have made this list, from the subterranean halls of Ironforge, to the savage beauty of Orgrimmar, to Thunderbluff, built on a series of spectacular plateaus joined by vertigo-inducing rope bridges. We had to go for Stormwind though, the foremost settlement of the Alliance. Stormwind is a classic fantasy city alive with fortresses, grand architecture and inspiring statues. Tourist spots include Haunted Tavern, the Blue Recluse, the mighty Cathedral of Light and the Deep Run tram that travels through the subterranean lake on its way to Ironforge. With its iconic music, mighty walls, and extensive lore and history, Stormwind is just the sort of city we'd be all too eager to defend from the advancing horde. Come on everyone, strap your helmets on and let's go. Number 2, Midgar, Final Fantasy VII. What would you say if I told you that the design of one of gaming's most iconic cities was influenced by the humble pizza? According to Final Fantasy VII's art director, Yosuke Naora, he kept the image of the delicious cheesy circular treat in mind when designing the overall look of Midgar, the Shinra-controlled metropolis that players explore for large chunks of the game. Split into 8 distinct sectors, this moody, glistening city captured the imaginations of countless RPG fans used to more standard fantasy fare and whisked JRPG enthusiasts off to the diesel punk world from which they've never truly returned. Reimagined in glorious 3D in the recent Final Fantasy VII remake, Midgar hides a few dark secrets, and I don't just mean the slums beneath the main city that never see the sky. You see, Midgar is powered by 8 towering Mako reactors, 9 if you count the secret one, that literally suck the life force out of the planet to feed the city's momental power needs. It's one power-hungry pizza. Crusty snacks aside, Midgar's design was also reportedly inspired by 1950s New York, which gives it a surprising link to another one of gaming's most iconic metropolises. Get your snorkels on everybody, because we're going there next. And number 1, Rapture, BioShock. Introduced in 2007's BioShock, not only is shattered utopia Rapture situated at the bottom of the ocean, it is also situated at the bottom of the list of cities you'd like to visit, owing to a small mutant problem. Still, those brave enough to take the bathysphere ride down to Andrew Ryan's greatest creation will be in for the unique sights and sounds that only a city beneath the waves can provide. Built as a retreat from the political, social and religious constraints of the surface world, Rapture was intended as a haven for free thinkers. It was a modern Atlantis where Art Deco met science fiction, a paragon of 50s era luxury where every apartment and office came with a particularly spectacular ocean view. Alas, thanks in equal part to the negative effect of a mutagen called Adam, and the flaws of its inhabitants and leaders, Rapture went from an aquatic paradise to a nautical nightmare, inhabited by babbling violent mutants, drill-wielding dreadnoughts in diving suits, and creepy children running around with no shoes on. Still, Rapture's aquatic atmosphere is quite possibly unmatched in video games, and we can't help but recommend a visit despite its flaws. Just think of it as a very big and dangerous aquarium that happens to have sprung a few leaks.